Morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a glorious day. Cheers to you all. Today, it's a day to talk about the United States Post Office, who's doing it wrong, versus all these other jobs that I've had and people that know how to treat their employees. So I want to get into that one today. So when I was going through it and things were really tough, I was at the United States Post Office. And the only way to describe the current state of affairs at the United States Post Office in Plymouth, Mass, and in Kingston, it's kind of a dual thing, so they ship you between the two places, is the Bataan Death March. Okay? And I'm pretty sure this is what postmen across the United States face. Okay? So you go in and you're supposed to sign up for a pension. Okay, great. I'm down for that, right? Who doesn't want to end in a pension? Unfortunately, they have set up a system that is so unworkable, so unmanageable, so exhausting that you are guaranteed to be broken or dead before you're finished. Okay? The cars alone. Who's seen the United States Post Office vehicle? We all have, right? And they're iconic, which is great. Unfortunately, what you probably don't realize is what they're driving today in 2023 is the same vehicles that were on the roads in the 1980s. Okay? 43 years, these cars are of age. Most houses are collapsing by that point. Okay? So these cars are constantly breaking down. They are no good in the snow. They have very little to minimal heating, which there's like a pulley system you gotta work to try to like trap the heat on the inside. And in the summertime, there's a fan, which I refer to as the spinning fan of death. It's one of those like black and white movie Cary Grant kind of fans that's on the dash that really doesn't do anything other than make a whole lot of noise. And if your fingers go in it, you're gonna, I'm glad I still have my hand. So, and then these vehicles are so old, so out of date, that you have to set up their parking brake system with every stop. Okay? So every time you pull up to a house that you have to get out and dismount from your vehicle, you then have to put brake, parking brake, pull levers. Like, it is just ludicrous, I guess is really the way to put it. Because if you don't do this entire parking system, it is then put on you, the postman, because these cars will literally go flying. Okay? They will drive through the neighbor's lawn, through their fence, run over the dog's tail, through the neighbor's house, and keep on going. And, they have videos after videos that they show you in training of this happening. And then they will not upgrade these vehicles, but instead they will put the blame on the postman. Like, oh my God, why didn't you do that? Like, we told you, huh? Right? We told you this was going to happen. It's like, are you kidding? You set these people up to fail. There's repetitive stress injuries. Everybody's 100,000 times. Arm out the window, arm out the window, arm out the window. What happens? Everybody ends up in surgery having their rotator cuff repaired. You got to walk. I mean, it sounds noble, right? We go out there in the sun and the snow and the sleet and the hail. Fucking do it yourself, okay? You have no idea how much that sucks on these poor people. Whenever I go by a postman, I give a little cross. I say, God, please watch over these people. Because it is insane. They walk into a building that is probably as old as their vehicles, and the place is just slammed with mail. Slammed. Every single person, and they're understaffed and undermanned, and that's done intentionally. Because when I was having troubles and I was being held in jail for crimes I did not commit, I had to communicate with the post office what was going on because I wasn't showing up at work. So my friend Rachel, she was doing the communicating for me. I would make a call to her from the jail. She would talk to Chris in the post office, who would then pass things to his manager, right? So because I wanted to keep my job. right? I'm a hard worker. The job's awful, but it's a paycheck, right? So what ends up happening is I get out and I go in and I'm ready to start work again. And I've kept everyone up to date and informed about what's going on. And the manager above Chris, I don't remember his name. I remember everyone in the Plymouth post office fucking hated the guy. The guy was rude, abusive, treated women like crap. I didn't want to know this guy, okay? But I go into the back office in Kingston, and he's there with Chris, and I shake hands because it's what you do. I shake their hands, and he tells me, well, you know what? You were not communicating with us, so I am going to let you go. Now, what he's really saying is, I get a bonus as long as I keep the employment levels down so that everyone is overworked and I get a kickback. So I get the boot, but before I walk out on this, I turn to Chris and I go, Chris, you have been communicated with this entire time through Rachel. And all of a sudden, the manager's like, well, he's not an attorney, so that doesn't count. Okay, so that's what I faced at the U.S. Post Office. And one of the reasons I want to defend my post office men and women that are there every day, they can never get to the end of the line. They are shown a pension, and it is made so hard, so exhausting, so impossible. Every day, it's not an 8-hour day. No, you're going until the sun goes down and then some. And the only time you're allowed to call it quits when the sun goes down is if you feel in danger for your life. And believe me, in cars that don't have lighting, when going up to somebody's house in the pitch black dark at 7, 8 o'clock at night, you're waiting to get shot for delivering the mail. Okay? And I'm doing nice neighborhoods. Okay, so I'm not even talking about places where what the hell is going on. So, really rough job. Okay? And what I want to talk about now, in comparison, is Don Bravo's in Marshfield. Okay? They've only been open for like a little over 2 months. And it is a Mexican restaurant. And it is run by Maria. And, got something to show you. So, that's her takeout menu. And Maria is just an amazing woman. I watch this woman every day, and she's just impressive as all hell. She runs a tight ship. She's kind to everyone beyond words. She wants the job done, and that is completely respectable. She gives everyone a good pay. She tries as best she can to make sure tips are divvied up. And the thing I love about her, this is what I truly loved about her, is she gives everybody a meal. And this is my first restaurant job. Okay, I'm the host. I work Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. You're welcome to come down to the restaurant, say hi to me. I'll get you a table. I'll take care of you. But Maria hooks everybody up with food, with a meal, so everybody's got a hot meal in their stomach. How many jobs do that for you? How many places do that for their employees? And it's not like, the MSO where it's like, oh, here's dead lettuce. Okay? This was a real meal. And, financial issues as they have been, I am truly grateful for her efforts to make an amazing restaurant with great food, good people, and if you can get down to Marshfield, it's 30 Webster Square in Marshfield. It's right next to the Star Market. It's to the right. It's in the corner of the place. And, I wanted to absolutely mention her and give her all the credit in the world for her and her restaurant. The people that come in there as customers, they all go to me, I heard how good this place is, and I had to come check it out. And that's what comes from having a boss, a manager, an owner like Maria, who cares about every little detail, cares about how the place looks, whether it's clean, looking sharp. I don't have my little red tie on, but, I look pretty sharp, if I do say so myself. And everybody does. Rodrigo, like Oswaldo, like, these are really good people to work with, and they are happy to be there. It's a happy environment, and that's a huge win for everybody because there's a good boss. And, you know, the people at the post office, all they would have to do to cripple the post office, not just the post office, but the United States, Amazon, Amazon gets a shady deal through the United States Post Office, forcing new guys that are there to work their weekends for pay, for, we'll call it a usable paycheck, I guess that's a fair term, to come in on their weekends. They cannot refuse, and there will be a pile of boxes that if it falls over, will kill you. And Amazon ships through the United States Post Office. Why? Because it's cheaper. And so you don't get any time off. Your days are 10 to 12 hours, and it's flipping insane. And, you know, I crunched some numbers really quickly, and, you know, it's 60 cents for a stamp. And there are 331 million Americans in this country. So if every single one of us sends one piece of mail a day for a year, they make $121 billion. That's with a B, $121 billion. And they have these poor people, slaves, marching out there through people's backyards, over fences, over lawns, overworked. They finish and they empty their vehicles of death, and they gotta go back and refill it. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I do. I pray for the people at the post office every day. You know, if they get the blue flu, like a term from my sheriff's department and from the police across the country, they know what I'm talking about. I feel it. I feel it coming. So that's enough about the post office. I'm done with them. But I wanted to mention a couple others, you know, because these were just good people, good businesses, people that helped me. So when I first got out and the post office dumped me, I went to Specialties. Okay? That's Ruth Finn's card. She owns Specialties. And she gave me my first job. You know, I had nothing. I didn't have paperwork. Like, I basically had the pants I had on and a shirt. And I said, I need a job. Times are tough. Can you please help? And she gave me a job as a screen printer. And I owe her big. She was amazing. She's an incredibly nice lady, incredibly patient, taught me a new skill, a new artistic skill, and I loved it. And I liked working for her. Anyone that needs a t-shirt done, she's in Kingston, Mass. At 61 Summer Street. I highly recommend going to see Ruth. She's a great lady. It's a great little shop, and she works really hard to take care of everybody. And then, who else have we got to talk about? Okay, so I was incredibly lucky. I went to the Charlie Horse restaurant here in Kingston, okay? And they were having a raffle. It was a raffle for this beauty right here. Take this down for a minute. The Charlie Horse was raffling off this Shelby GT 500. And they were a $100 ticket to help people, help kids, okay? So I was there with Nellie and my girlfriend, and I bought one ticket. I never thought I'd win, okay? I went down. I was with my friends hanging at the BBC. It's a great bar in Plymouth. Great atmosphere, great people. My friends Christina and Jack, they're cousins. They're always behind the bar. Tell them Josh Ford sent you. Grab yourself a beer. They are good people, and they will treat you well. But, you know, I could not believe that night at the BBC, I got a phone call that I won this car. And it blew my mind, and it was so nice of the Charlie Horse, and so amazing that they did a charity event with such an amazing gift, right? I love this car, and I'm so lucky to have it. And what I had to do was I had to go to Grieco Ford in Raynham, Mass. Okay? And This is Laura Venturini's card. And I went in there, and the people in Raynham Ford at Grieco were so kind to, because, I mean, this car was immaculate, okay? It has all these bells and whistles. It was like being handed the keys to a spaceship, okay? It really is. I wish I knew more about cars. I know this thing is beautiful, and it is fast, and I have to do better at keeping my foot off off the gas. Let me tell you, I could probably use a car that is not a spaceship, honest to God, but I'm very lucky to have it. My truck's in the shop, so right now I'm making the most with my Shelby GT 500, and it's certainly not something to complain about. I absolutely love it, and I wanted to give credit to Gabriel from Grieco Ford here. Gabriel was, it's funny, Archangel Gabriel. He was the archangel of cars, because he came down, nice kid, and just walked me through every step of this vehicle, every button, I could never remember it all. But he did a great job of teaching me things. He took us out for a drive, showed us how everything worked. If you go there, ask for Gabriel. He is a very good kid. He will take care of you. Say Josh sent you, and you know what? I blown away. And if you're a car guy, they have like a section of their cars which are just beautiful cars, race cars. It's worth just going to see their vehicles. Even if you don't need a car, just go look. They treated me right, and the Charlie Horse here in Kingston. Thank you. And then who else I gotta mention? This is Gossphoto. Okay, when I got out, I started doing artwork. It was kind of therapeutic. I'd been through a lot, and I was making pieces of art. And then I call him my friend, because Sean was one of those guys that you walked in and you're like, wow, this guy's my brother. Like, this guy's cool, and he's got his fancy race cars and stuff. So it was really funny that I just won the Shelby, and then I meet him, and he made prints of all my artwork. And I got to put these prints up in Plymouth at 13 Court Street. I got to put it at the Two Feathers in the Cape. There was some at the Crystal Shop here in Kingston, Mass, with Karen and Diane. They had me put up my artwork. I mean, I was so lucky to meet Sean. I was so lucky to be able to hang my artwork in these shops. And if you need a good photographer, and I mean a good photographer, he has a shop that's amazing. You walk in, he's got little girls there, and they're playing in their little room, and great kids. It's just a great family environment, and he'll take care of you if you need photos done. And then my other job, I'm working two right now. So Don Bravo's, and I'm working Stop and Shop in Kingston. And it was funny. I've never done on the meat man in the back, meat and fish, and I got my little white lab coat. It's kind of fun, and because I get to work with the people, and so everybody comes up to the counter, and we just talk to everybody. I make friends, Mel and Madison. Like, it's great. My boss and manager, Andy, just a funny guy. Easy to work with, really cool. He has said to me so many times, oh my God, like, I can trust you. You have a brain. Like you have a brain. You have a brain. Like, I'm like, oh my dear God, Andy, who is working here for me? But it is a fun place to work. And one of my coworkers is Nick DiPace, and he does masonry work. And I got to mention him because he's a really good guy. And, if you need him and you need masonry work done, like, he's shown me his stuff. It's pretty amazing. And, we sit there, and when we're not handing out things or dealing with the public, he's always there talking about, he's kind of living the dream I wanted. He's got the girl and the stepkids, and he's got that family, and he loves to tell me stories about them. And it's really nice. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's nice to hear. And he's just a good guy. He's a solid guy. And I'm living here at 7 Center Street. And this was another miracle. And Nick's trying to help me with this miracle. Because when I was working at the post office, one of my fellow postmen told me there were apartments in this area of Kingston. And when I got out of the jail, I didn't have anywhere to go. So I just kind of started walking around, and literally this was beyond lucky. The first place I knocked on the door and I said hi, David answered the door. He's an older gentleman and not in the best of health. Love him though. Great guy. He said he did have an apartment for rent. And him and his wife, Patricia, let me, complete stranger, have this little apartment. It has changed my life. It made my life so much better. They have no way at present to keep up with the repairs on this house. It's just too much for the two of them at their current age. So I love them. They are very kind. They have helped me through some of the hardest times of my life. And, Nick, I gave his card to Patricia the other day. He's going to try to come check out the roof because the roof is leaking on this place. There's a chimney issue, and it just, unfortunately, comes down this wall here, water in the cupboard. It is what it is. But water's getting downstairs. The floor is kind of sagging now. They need a new roof. Nick's going to try to come in if he can and do what he can. If anybody out there can help David and Patricia, can help them put a new roof on. I mean, this house needs work. I'm not going to lie. But a roof would go a long way. I know there's heating issues and plumbing issues, and it's an old house. It's an old colonial. So it needs somebody that can help keep it up. And if you can help them, from my heart, it would be amazing. Even just send your business card, because I know they're looking for somebody to try to help with the roof, and whoever they were working with just hasn't found the time or whatever it is. I don't really know the situation entirely, but they could use help. So David and Patricia at 7 Center Street, in Kingston, Mass. 02364. So if you can help them, mean the world to me. All right? And if you can help any of these people, because, Sean, Ruth, the Charlie horse, Don Bravo's with Maria, these are good people. David and Patricia, great people. These are the kind of people you want for neighbors. These are the kind of people you want running your local businesses. They deserve our support. They deserve a good life because they're creating jobs for us. My only negative about Stop and Shop is they're replacing all the people with robots. Like, they could have that robot Marty that marches around giving orders to clean the floors, and there's one register open and everybody else has got a bag. And I know that's the big thing at like Walmart and all these places. Unless everything's being replaced with robots and we're all not going to pay taxes and everything's going to be free. And I'm all for that dream, okay, but we're not there. So right now we're currently creating a system where people don't have jobs, where kids don't have jobs. So these places like Grieco Ford and Nick, Don Bravos, right? These are the places that create jobs, that give our kids a place to go to work, that make our community stronger and better. So pay attention to who's in your neighborhood. Pay attention to the good people and help them. Shop at their places. It's worth going to these places to talk to these people, to see what services they can offer, to just say thank you for making our community better, stronger, healthier. So I appreciate you listening, and I hope you all have an amazing day. God bless.